Well, good YouTube doom scrolling. Hi, this is Phil Fanstill with Friendly Fireside 5. And today we're going to talk about what is up with Israel. I may be trying a little too hard on this fire thing, but Fireside, whatever. But I do have more logs. It is going somewhere. I am leading to something. It's a buildup. I am such a tease. Now, this is going to be the introduction to a much larger, because as we'll see today, it's pretty complicated. The Jews are the source of all the problems of the world. They have their space lasers, they control America, they're committing genocide. I've heard this, the Austrian painter was right. That's a reference, for those who don't know, that's a reference to Adolf Hitler. And the Holocaust. So they on one hand, they deny the Holocaust, but on the other hand, they say Hitler was right for what he did. So it's like, okay, pick. One side, you have these people that any bad thing in the world is the Jewish people's fault. And then on the other side, you have Christians, a lot of Christians in America. I'm in Oklahoma, the Buckle of the Bible Belt, and so I've heard this many times, but that Israel is God's chosen people, and that whoever blesses Israel will be blessed, whoever curses Israel will be cursed. Now that's actually a verse in Genesis 12:3, but it's not about Israel, it's about Abraham. But it is there. But then Abraham's grandson is Jacob, whose name is changed to Israel. So there is a logical progression, because the birthright goes from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob, and then to his 12 sons. But then it's kind of the story of Genesis. That's kind of Genesis in a nutshell. It's the progression of the promises and the covenants and the birthright, and how the history of this. So why should we care? Life is complicated. Life is very complicated. The older you get, the more you know you don't know. That's the knowledge paradox. The more you know you don't know. And there's a lot of stuff. And it's complicated. Interest rates, the economy, banking systems, geopolitical, globalization, our food supply, the space lasers. Dude, it gets weather modification. I don't see any chemtrails today. One of the ideas in human nature is if we can blame it all on one person. Okay. If we can blame it on one group of people. Why is divorce so high? Well, somebody's not happy, so it must be their husband or wife's fault. That's the only explanation, right? They can't be somebody in the mirror. It reminds me of my favorite joke. Well, current favorite joke. If I would give you $1 million, would you take it? But your worst enemy gets $3 million. And of course the answer is, I would love to have $4 million. Anyway, okay. Let that sink in for a minute. We want to blame somebody else instead of taking responsibility, instead of understanding things. If we can vilify one group, and this is kind of history. This is what we do. It's not us, it's them, right? And this is my concern. Why should we care about Israel? It feels like we're going into a bad movie, a bad history. It's like we're teenagers in a house in the woods, and we're gonna walk outside barefoot without any weapons and go into down the stairs, and we're gonna do all the things you're not supposed to do. We all know this. You turn on the lights, you get inside, you lock the doors, you get weapons. There's a logical thing, and it looks like right now we are doing the most illogical thing. We're blaming the Jews in this case, and we're going down this path that has not gone well. And then this brings up another scary idea to me, is what if there's a spiritual element to this? In the Bible, not only is it Genesis 12:3, but in Deuteronomy 32:8-9, it says, God says, Jacob is my inheritance. And Jacob's name is changed to Israel, and this is where we get modern day. Now, Jews are actually the house of Judah, and then there's also the house of Israel. That's another topic for another day. So one thing that kind of illustrated this to me, and just like a bonfire going off in my head, was at the end of World War II, the Nazis, there's something spiritual about their extermination of the Jews. They prioritized the extermination of the Jews over saving themselves. All right, that's some messed up mumbo jumbo. I'm reminded of the story of Esther. The story of Esther is a great story. And I feel like, prophetically, we're living in that day right now. We're living in another Esther type situation. So it's worth reading that. The lies, manipulations, all this kind of stuff. And then the threat to the Jewish people. What most people don't understand about the end of Esther is there is a war. There, even though Esther intervenes and the king hangs or impales Haman, all this, there is still a war. There, all the pieces, all the laws and all these conflicting laws, they were still put in place. So there is still this battle to come. And I'm concerned that if we're not careful, we're going to repeat that bad history. So I'll leave with this parting thought. As we investigate what's up with Israel, as we look at the nuance, as we look at all these things, what we're going to find is sometimes we're wrong. And I'm in a discussion now with some friends, and they bring up stuff, so I'm like, oh, yeah, I hadn't thought about that. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that, but I kind of do, right? Last week I said the truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off. And I think there's an element to that. So I'm going to leave another quote today. Do you want to know the truth, or do you want to be right? Join me as we get pissed off and try to come to know the truth. Shalom.